Okay, so now we're looking at what is sort of a semi-closed structure that can open. This is what I call closed, what we call pinit. And then abierta is over here. So from this sort of I say semi-closed because we're not turned so far that we're stuck here and only doing redondos, but we're not completely square either, because then there's no point in being closed. Your arm is in the finish of a forehand follow-through shot, and that's not a good place to carry it. Here it's okay. Why? Because it's ready to lash out. It's without any preparatory motion. I can redondo, I can backhand with tick, I can throw up a roof and then start to, as I turn, if he gives me reason to, I can use that as my entry, and there's my follow-up. So it's a very versatile stance because it also affords you this quick forward and backward shuffling kind of movement, whereas when I'm more like this, I can't move as quickly forward and back. The line of your feet, between your feet, says a lot for which direction you can move most quickly, all right? Which also means that when you have two sticks in your hand, you're like this, and your stance might be more square, you're much quicker at side shuffling and circling. It brings out that lateral motion. Okay, so now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna distinguish between fighting from the outside and going in. From the outside, I'm probing and I'm entering into this space. Go ahead and extend your stick, Chris. And this is his, let's just say the outer sphere, because if you go all the way around you, there's a sphere all around him that we'll say is roughly this far from his shoulder. It projects, for all intents and purposes, at least in my area, it's like this section of a sphere. And what I'm gonna do is I'm crossing over into that sphere for two reasons: to get him to attack, or because I see an opportunity to hit his hand or his stick. I'm not close enough yet to get him in the head or hit him in the torso. What I'm looking at is probing. You know, if I'm here, if I'm quick, I might do a redondo, draws out his attack, and then boom, my backhand with it caught him on the hand. And then I look at the effects of that. Did it hurt? Is he wincing in pain? Did he drop his stick? Or is he pulling his hand back now like, oh, I don't want that to happen again? So what you do from the outside can get him to change his habits and change his movement, and to put him more on the defensive. You can make him more desperate. It can also confuse his mind, because it's like when a boxer gets cut, suddenly everything they were planning to do is out the window. They can't get their head straight because they're bleeding and they got head butted or whatever else. And so it's like that. When you suddenly hurt them, they're still in the fight, but they can't get their head in the fight in the same way. So I'm here, I'm moving, and here's what we're gonna do. I'm using the same structure of in and out, and I'm sort of probing into the space. I'm saying, well, if he thinks I'm gonna cross over into it, maybe with my head and shoulders I can convince him, and then I'll stay out and either study what he did or hit him. But then I go like this. I might throw redondo out there and then pop, I'll do that backhand and catch him on the hand, or I'll feint with this and then he throws something, and I've chosen to turn into him, and that's gonna be my entry and charge. And what I've gotta do from there, I have to have let's say I make an educated guess about whether he's gonna throw a 1. So my educated guess is to throw up my roof block, and it was a good bet because people do open with a 1. And then I hit, boom, and then deflect his follow-up and hit him again. So my point is you already programmed that into your mind before you went in. You're already ready to do that, boom, boom. Because what started out as a 2 might end up being a deflect. Right? I might hit him with that, or I might hit his stick. And this brings up another point, very important point. When things are happening very quickly, you often in your mind don't distinguish so much between a deflection and a hit. Deflecting his weapon is really just hitting his weapon, as opposed to hitting him, right? And that helps. That helps a lot, because then I see myself as, he comes up, I'm actually, in my mind, it's sort of like I'm hitting his weapon. I'm not like doing this separate defensive type thing that then changes over into offense. So that way, any motion that starts here could be a backhand to hit him, or it could be a deflect on a stick. It just depends on what's in my way, what comes up. All right? And with the roof block, it's not quite as ambiguous. That clearly is a defensive motion. But off of this, boom, boom, here again. My umbrella deflects. But off of this, if he didn't come back with it, I might as well just let that come through. Instead of it being an umbrella, let it be a 1. All right, so again, 2 modes. There's the outside probing, hitting the hand. Sometimes, boom, I might even get him on the foot, or I might play this drifting shot game from here and boom, get him on the knee. And this is all outside stuff. This is all And by the way, that's an old Dog Brothers one, which I like a lot, which is get him to meet your one, and then drift past the one on the knee, and then you've sealed your exit with the umbrella. And like I always tell people, pulling off a good attack is like pulling off a bank heist. You have to think about how you're going to get in, but you also have to think about how you're going to get out. You have to plan for that as well, and maybe the latter is more important. That's how you don't end up in prison for 50 years or whatever. So from here, once again, I'm probing, boom, I stay out. Sometimes I'm just getting him to swing and miss. You know, this is the game. Drifting shot, boom. And other times it's, boom, I'm in, and what was closed opens up, unless I choose to go in this way. Off of the same closed position, I go in redondo, backhand, like that. So I might even do multiple redondos, and then go into a backhand. That's what opens me up. So you play around with this idea, but you have the idea, much like a boxer does, of two modes. From the outside, you're fencing, just like in boxing, the jab, you're fencing. And then from going in is the second mode, where you can open up with power punches. And that requires that you're more square. You can't be this close to him and still be half facing. It's not going to work because it's too easy for him to take a short step that way. Now he's behind me. So for my own sake, defensively, I can't let that happen. I have to open up once I engage to throw power shots.